The air on Oak Island has always tasted of salt and secrets. For over 2 centuries, this small patch of land off Nova Scotia has held a promise. It whispered of pirate gold, Templar relics, fortunes buried deep within its clay and boulder-choked earth. Generations of treasure hunters have come and gone. They brought their dreams, their drills, their dogged determination. Most left with little more than empty pockets and stories of strange lights. The island became a graveyard of hopes. It seemed to defy all attempts to unlock its core, swallowing machinery. And tragically, even lives in its mysterious waterlogged pits. Yet, this time felt different. The Lagina brothers, Rick and Marty, had poured years and a considerable fortune into this stubborn ground. They were armed with sonar scans, ground-penetrating radar, and a team of experts. For years, the collective imagination had painted a vivid picture of what lay at the bottom of the money pit. The stories were the stuff of boyhood adventure novels. There were tales of Captain Kidd's fabulous treasure, chests overflowing with Spanish doubloons, sacks heavy with precious gems, golden artifacts and ancient goblets, Knights Templar legends, the Ark of the Covenant, the Holy Grail, whispers of lost Shakespearean manuscripts. Each theory was about something tangible from our past. The team, despite scientific methods, was not immune. In quiet moments, they speculated. A single magnificent find or a series of vaults. They imagined the glint of gold in a flashlight beam, the rough texture of a wooden chest untouched for centuries. This was the emotional fuel of the project. What they were not prepared for was the truth. After years of relentless effort, the massive caisson finally punched through bedrock, more than 200 feet deep within the money pit. This was the moment they had gambled everything on. Instantly, the drills went silent. The pumps ceased their groaning. An unnerving quiet fell over the site, a silence heavier than any noise before it. In the war room, a collective breath was held. Every hope and theory over 2 centuries funneled into this single point in time. The initial probe camera was lowered with trembling hands. The first image it sent back didn't cause shouts of joy, it silenced the entire room. It wasn't a waterlogged cavern or the glimmer of gold. It was a void, an emptiness so absolute it felt like a tear in the earth itself. The camera revealed a perfectly square, impossibly dark opening. The powerful beam of light didn't illuminate it. The darkness simply swallowed it whole. There were no rough-hewn tunnel walls, no splintered timbering, no signs of 18th century engineering. The chamber's interior was flawless, alien. The atmospheric sensors returned an impossible reading. The air was sterile, with a composition of noble gases unlike anything in Earth's natural atmosphere. It was as if this space had been hermetically sealed, not just from the Earth but from time itself. A perfect vessel of preservation. The data was too strange, the images too alien. A manned descent, though risky, was now the only way forward. They stood on the precipice of an answer, but the question was no longer, where is the treasure? It was, what is this place? After centuries of myth, they were about to look the Oak Island mystery directly in the eye, and they suspected it was far deeper than they ever imagined. As the explorer descended, the chamber's walls revealed a flawless, obsidian-like surface. It wasn't rock, but a polished material reflecting their lamps in bizarre, distorted patterns. There were no seams, no tool marks. A single monolithic structure of impossible smoothness, built with a technology that defied comprehension, and at its heart, on a central pedestal, was not a treasure chest, but a machine, an enormous, intricate device, humming with a low, resonant frequency and glowing with a soft, internal light. A central sphere, milky and translucent, was suspended weightlessly above it. It swirled with an internal galaxy of light, its low-frequency hum a vibration felt deep in your bones. The machine's surfaces were covered in symbols that defied any known language. Its components revolved with a silent, frictionless precision clearly beyond human manufacture. This chamber was a clean room on a cosmic scale, zero dust, zero decay, a stasis field, perfectly preserving its contents for what could be eons. In that moment, the dream of pirate gold evaporated. The $250 million treasure was real, but it wasn't gold. They had found something infinitely more valuable, and perhaps infinitely more dangerous. The initial shock gave way to a flurry of frantic, clandestine activity. Under a global media blackout, the world's brightest minds were quietly summoned. This was no longer a treasure hunt. It was a species-level event. Physicists to decode its impossible energy, xenolinguists to search for a language that wasn't there, materials scientists, and philosophers to grapple with the implications. They arrived at a secret city of geniuses, united by one terrifying question: what have we found? Inside the labs, the data was staggering. The metallurgy didn't just seem unknown, it defied the rules of atomic structure. Its faint energy signatures pulsed in patterns that violated the known laws of thermodynamics. Amidst the hard science, it was Dr. Aris Thorne, a historian of ancient mythologies, who offered the most shocking possibility. He proposed they were looking at the problem all wrong. He presented research from dozens of disconnected cultures. Faded texts and oral traditions all describe similar beings. The Sumerian Apkallu, the shining teachers of Mesoamerica, the sky beings of indigenous lore. The pattern was always the same. They delivered understanding, never weapons. These myths didn't speak of long apprenticeships, they spoke of a process of instant enlightenment, a direct, seamless transfer of structured knowledge into the human mind. And suddenly the puzzle pieces clicked into place. The treasure of Oak Island wasn't gold. The machine in the chamber was not a vault. It was a library, a teaching device of cosmic origin. The working theory was mind-bending, a quantum neural interface. It didn't transmit data to be learned, it directly restructured synaptic pathways to embody information. It bypassed language and symbols, literally rewiring cognition itself. Imagine wanting to learn piano. Instead of years of practice, you sit before the machine for one session and walk away with the muscle memory and theory of a master. A single session could transform a novice into a world-class expert. The potential was utopian. Applied wisely, it could solve our greatest problems overnight. Imagine uploading the cure for cancer into the minds of every doctor, or the blueprint for limitless clean energy into every engineer. It could end scarcity, poverty, and ignorance. But the dystopian potential was just as vast. Applied wrongly, it could create the ultimate tyranny, a cognitive elite, a ruling class whose understanding of reality is fundamentally separate from the rest of humanity. So was it merely an encyclopedia of alien knowledge? Or was it a key, designed to unlock the latent potential dormant within the human brain itself? The evidence insisted it was both. The team gave it a name for its awesome and terrifying purpose. They called it the Enlightenment engine, a tool not to enrich a few, but to elevate an entire species. The treasure wasn't for them, it was for everyone. In the immediate aftermath, the question that fueled centuries of obsession demanded an answer. What is it worth? The fabled $250 million treasure, what was its final tally? An economist, brought in to assess the windfall of gold, simply laughed. In the tense war room, his reaction was pure, unscripted absurdity. His assessment was brutal. Gold and artifacts, zero. The real treasure, the knowledge transfer, was priceless. Initial economic models projected impacts in the hundreds of billions before they simply broke under the sheer scale of the implications. The traditional treasure was a brilliant decoy, a breadcrumb trail leading not to a chest of coins, but to the ultimate prize, the capacity to create paradigm-shifting value instantly. Entire industries could be rendered obsolete overnight. Why spend decades searching for cures when a single session could impart the complete knowledge to eradicate diseases like cancer? Why invest in decades of R&D when the engine could transfer the insight needed to build limitless clean energy, like stable fusion power? It represented the end of scarcity, the potential for abundance at a global scale. Human endeavor, freed from the struggle for survival, could finally pursue creativity, philosophy, and deeper understanding. But it raised deep questions. If knowledge can be downloaded, what becomes of the human journey, the struggle that makes wisdom meaningful? The machine offered a shortcut to mastery, but is mastery without effort true wisdom? The $250 million figure was not its price, it was a placeholder for a responsibility so immense, a burden of choice so heavy, it dwarfed every king's ransom in history. The initial euphoria faded into a deep and unsettling sobriety. They had won the ultimate prize, but it felt less like victory and more like a burden. They walked the shores of Oak Island looking out at calm waters, their faces etched with a gravity they had never known before. Who should be allowed to use the machine? Scientists? World leaders? A lottery? They became custodians of a cosmic secret, locked behind protocols and security. A handful of people who knew the most important secret in human history, and could not share it without risking chaos. they felt both incredibly powerful and utterly small in the scheme of the cosmos. This responsibility forced a profound change. The adventurers becoming cautious philosophers. The treasure had not made them rich, it had made them accountable. The real test was now moral, not mechanical. Rick Lagina looked like a different man, no longer a treasure hunter, but a guardian of mankind's greatest secret. The Money Pit's treasure was never meant to be taken, it was meant to be found, a gift from the unknown, protected by the determined, for the benefit of all. The mystery of Oak Island is finally solved, but the journey has just truly begun. Please subscribe to our channel History Documentary, hub for more insightful videos and intriguing content.